Alright, what is up guys? Welcome back to another video. This is going to be the official console tier list for Paladins. Shadows, brand new patch, we got a brand new champion into the game. We got a decent amount of balance, not as much as I thought we were going to get, but I guess they're saving a lot of it for the mid-season patch. And then we got Octavia finally being released into ranked, so I'll tell you guys my opinions on Octavia. We also got Vaux. I'm going to be talking about Vaux briefly, just as what I think of him, just being released into the game just about a couple days ago, and my experience playing him, what I think of him, how he's going to do in ranked, at least right now, stuff like that. So if you guys like these tier lists, let me know down below. Leave a like. Let's see if we can get this video to 25 likes within the first 48 hours. You guys seem to crush that goal every time. Let's see if we can do it again. Subscribe, share the video, really helps me out. As long as you guys subscribe, like there's so many of you guys, like 90% of you guys aren't subscribed. It's simple as going down below, there's a big red button, clicking the red button and then hitting the notification bell. I also do stream Paladins ranked. I'm probably going to be streaming a lot more now since I got laid off from my job here about a couple days ago. So currently looking for a new job, probably for the next week or two. I'll be streaming a ton during that time. So if you guys do not want to miss any of my streams, hit the notification bell and subscribe. Really appreciate it. We're going to get right into this. If you guys not know, if this is your first time viewing my channel as well, I'm a Paladins Switch player. I play on console. I don't play on PC. This is going to be a console tier list, but it also does not mean that some of this stuff may apply to PC. I just don't play PC. But this is also 100% opinionated. Let me know your guys' list down below. If somebody wants to do timestamps as well, pin your comment and I'll heart your comment down below. If you guys want to leave your own list, or if there's something I did not talk about or I did not talk about enough in the video or I missed, let me know in the comments down below and I'll respond to you guys. I respond to the majority of my comments. So getting into this, I'm a Paladin Switch player. I've got 4,700 hours in the game now. I'm a veteran player. I've been playing for almost 3 years now. So there's going to be pretty much a ranked tier list, anywhere from about gold 3 all the way up to mid diamond, around there, give or take, whatever. SS is going to be your broken stuff, your stuff that you're going to be wanting to ban the majority of your games or first pick in the majority of ranked games. This is going to be the shit that you win with. If somebody doesn't ban it or somebody doesn't first pick it, you pick it and you win the majority of your games. And we got F tier, which, spoilers, probably emoji, absolute garbage tier. D is like bottom of the barrel, maybe one situational pick. C is your almost garbage. B is very situational. A is your average. A plus above average, and then S is you're going to be your top picks that you're going to be picking like 90% of your games. So we're going to get right into this. I'm going to hop right in. Let me go what you guys think. Please leave some timestamps if you guys want to leave a timestamp. If somebody wants to do that as well, if you're planning on watching the entire video, which I would 100% appreciate, please leave a timestamp. Don't be one of those people that just skips through the entire video and then goes down in the comments down below and then wonders and bitches and complains down in the comments down below and wonders why something is placed where it is. And even though I explain it, don't be one of those people. Don't skip to the end of the video. Watch the entire video before you comment. I would appreciate that as well. Vaux, new flank champion in the game. I would say he's really fun to play, but I feel like he's just going to be one of those champions that's way better in like Siege. I feel like TDM really isn't good for him, especially when people are grouped up. He has his third party. He's one of those champions where you need to 1v1 people. Pretty much my opinions on Vaux right now. He is legit a buck. He's pretty much what he is. He's buck with no recovery. He has some DR in his loadout cards, and he has a little bit of self-sustain in his loadout cards. But pretty much what he is, he's buck with no recovery. That's kind of what he is, at least from playing him and kind of overall how he's designed. Design overall, though, probably one of the most badass looking champions in the game, at least flank-wise. I think 100% they knocked it out of the park, at least design-wise, with Vaux. 100%. Love his design, especially his golden skin. Gosh, his golden skin looks perfect. I want to get it so bad, but I just don't think I will be able to anytime soon. Pretty much, I think if they released him into ranked right now, the majority of the people that play Vaux are just feeders. The problem with Vaux right now, he feels extremely clunky. It's really difficult. I don't even think you can animation cancel. I feel like I'm constantly having to reload with him. He's like Buck. He's absolutely useless at mid-range, and he's absolutely even more useless at long range. If you can't get on somebody up close, right in their face, you are absolutely useless. Same thing as Buck, but even then, he has recovery, and Vaux doesn't. He has a few loadout cards that he can use, but with Cauterize, they're pretty much made irrelevant, so... I guess he has a little bit of DR, whatever. DR isn't really enough to matter in most cases, at least from playing him so far. Like, if he was to be released into ranked right now, I'd actually put him at a B, because I think people just would pick him up and throw him into ranked and just feed their ass off. Nobody knows how to play him properly. This is a champion that they finally designed that is going to be for your top-end players. If you're just a casual player and hopping in with Vaux and you're going to be playing ranked or you're looking to win games, if you do not know what you are doing, you are just going to end up being dead weight and you're just going to feed them free all charge and pad the enemy team's stats feeding them. So you need to know what you're doing if you're going to be playing Vaux, especially if you're playing a game and you think you can use them, but there's better options. There's a lot of better options in the game, especially if you're more comfortable with having a flank that does decent mid to long range poke damage or can actually do something at those types of ranges. If you pick Vaux, you're kind of useless. If you can't get in close and you can't 1v1 people up close, then you're pretty much useless. Also, his ult is also bugged. Half the time the stun does not work, or half the time people don't take damage. His ult is currently bugged. It doesn't proc a stun half the time, or it doesn't proc the damage. That needs to be fixed before he gets put into ranked. Then overall, his animations just feel clunky as fuck. Like, they really do. Like, the shadow feels super clunky. The animation cancel, I don't even think you can animation cancel. I feel like I'm constantly trying to reload. I'll hit the shadow, and then I'll try to animation cancel, and it doesn't do anything. Like, I think the one thing that's really holding us back to is being limited to five ammo. He should be like Maeve and have infinite ammo. That's what I would have did if I would have released him. That's up to high res, though, I guess. It gives him a higher skill gap, being limited to 5 ammo. Whatever. I feel like I'm just constantly reloading, and it does not feel good to play like that. It really doesn't. But if I had to release him right now, I'd probably put him at a B, just because nobody knows how to play him unless you're like a veteran player or you at least know how to play this type of flank. The majority of people right now just end up feeding with him. They don't know how to properly play him. They don't know how to position. They dive 3 people and die instantly. You got to know what you're doing. If I were to just throw him into rank right now, I'd just put him at a B, just for that sheer fact alone. He's going to be one of those flank champions, which some people are happy about. That's going to be better at your higher end games and for your higher end better players. Not really a casual friendly, at least as casual friendly type flank, unlike some other stuff like Tierlist, Skye, for example, whatever. But apart from that, we're gonna get right into the list now. Actually, I'm gonna put Moji. We're gonna start off with Moji here. We're going to throw her down in F tier, get her out of the way, because that's an absolute waste of time. I'm not even going to bother talking about her. You guys know why she's F tier. It's at the point where she needs to be deleted from the game. They already said that they're not going to rework her, then why is she even in the game? Please delete her. Please. If you guys missed one of my ranked games, I threw up a ranked game this past week where I had emoji that went 9 and like 36 or something crazy. Completely threw my ranked game. If you missed that video, go check that out, because that's an absolutely insane video. Go check that out. Pretty much a prime example of why you never, ever in a million years would pick Moji in a ranked game over anything else. Now that we got that out of the way, let's get into the actual decent champions. Androxus, still going to SS. The only thing this balance change does, he actually got nerfed this patch. They reworked one of his cards. I think it was well oiled, or one of his cards. I think it was his ammo card that gives you more ammo. So instead of at a max rank of 5 having 11 ammo in your revolver, now they reworked that card to where it gives you a slight heal, like a 45 or like a 50 health heal every time you hit somebody with your gun. Or you shoot somebody. Like, I don't know. Absolutely useless card. I would not say Andro was dead, because the nerf was targeted for your more like midline players. If you're going to be playing at like higher tier ranked, like I say your higher platinum to like mid diamonds, masters games, Andro still steamrolls teams. This only took away like a little bit of the stuff for like your average kind of middle ground players that just couldn't land the majority of their shots. So they would run that card at like a 5. They'd have 11 ammo and they'd miss like 9 of their shots, and then they'd have still ammo left without having to worry about reloading. That's the only thing that really this nerf really does. He's still going to be good in your higher end, like top end ranked games. He's still going to be a top pick. He's still going to be a ban in the majority of your ranked games. If he's somehow available, you still pick him because he just does so much damage with Cursed Revolver, especially with the 900 headshots. Insanely easy to get headshots. The only thing you do now is you switch out that card. You add a filler card or something else. I don't know, whatever. There's some other filler cards that gives you like a heal on his nether step. You take that card away, and then you go sleight of hand, which I think is actually his ammo card on his nether step. So you take the points away from his ammo card that got reworked and put him into a sleight of hand, which is his ammo card on nether step dash. So that's all you need to do for his loadout. You take that away, you move it into a different card, and you're good to go. And then add a filler card if you want to get rid of that card. The reworked ammo card. There you go. Still top pick, still really good. Probably one of the best flanks, if not the best flank in the game right now. Just with the sheer amount of damage he does. Only really going to affect your mid-tier players that just kind of spam and miss the majority of their shots and kind of relied on the ammo card. But if you're still in like a higher end, like top end ranked games, you're still going to be seeing them. You're still going to be banning them. Got Ashe. I'm going to put Ashe as an A tier. I feel like she's just extremely average right now. There's nothing that sets Ashe apart from a lot of the other tanks in the game right now. Just your typical, she can play point tank as well, but there's just so many better options right now. Point tank, she's an okay off tank. She's a little bit more map dependent. If you can pick her on something like a Frog Isle or like something where you can knock people off the side of the map and knock them off the map, or where knockbacks are really effective, then she is a little bit more prioritized, but right now she's just an A tier. Nothing really special about her. Atlas, I'm going to put it an A+. Kind of fallen off. He needs some type of buff again. I think he might have gotten some type of buff this patch. I'm not sure. I don't think he did, though, but if he did get a buff this patch, it was one of his cards or some other random shit, and it didn't do anything to him. He's still pretty much the exact same. Kind of fallen off. He's still at A+ tier. He can be really good, mainly as an off tank. But like pretty much, if you're going to be looking for an off tank, there's still a lot better options. I don't know. I'd rather have a Fernando over like an Ashe or like an Atlas right now, or an Ashe, or like a Barrack off tank or something else. Like if you can play like an insane Atlas, by all means, go pick Atlas up. He can still steamroll and carry games. But as like a main tank, he does not work. He needs some type of buffs. Even with the buffs a while back, it made him feel a lot better, and he was better for a while. But again, just kind of fallen off. He really has. What he really needs is a new skin. Can we get a new skin for Atlas, please? That's what we need next. Screw the balance. Give us a new Atlas skin. Barrack. I'm going to put Barrack at an S. Probably one of the best point tanks / off tanks in the game right now. He can play both perfectly. He does his job. You know what to do with him. Very easy to play. Gets a lot of value. Really solid ult. Really good self-sustain still, even though I think it got nerfed a couple patches ago. He recently got his health reverted after that random health buff. Still insanely good. Still an S tier. You're seeing him in the majority of your ranked games. And he's probably going to be in your top 3 tank picks for the majority of your games. BK, it's a console tier list, guys. I can't put BK more than a C tier. I can't. Good BKs that I see in ranked are a dime a dozen. You guys know, if you guys watch and catch my streams, every time I have a BK on my team, they more than likely just end up feeding or end up doing nothing the entire game, and they were better off choosing something else. If there's a PC tier list, I'd probably put it at like an SS or like an S tier, but since it's console, I'm putting it at a C. By all means, he's not bad, but nobody knows how to properly play him, and nobody can ever use him to his max potential. Buck is trash right now. He went from being really, really solid to being absolute garbage. I think the main reason why that is because Everybody just out-sustains him. He doesn't have enough damage. And he doesn't do anything at mid to long range, and you need some type of poke damage right now if you're a flank at mid to long range. If you're getting... Pretty much if you can't get up on somebody, you're pretty much useless. You're better off picking any other flank. That's the problem with Buck right now. Don't get me wrong, you can probably steamroll. If you're a really good Buck player, you can probably still steamroll like your low plat and mid platinum games. But once you get to around about platinum 1 up into diamond, he falls off a lot because people know how to play against him, and he just gets shut down really easily. That's the problem with Buck. Gonna put him at a B. That's generous enough, I think. Cassie, I thought she was going to be a lot better. She actually recently got buffed, I think, this last patch with a little bit more of a dodge roll and dodge roll buffs than some of her cards. I think got a little bit of buff. I got to put her at a B. I can't put her higher. She's B tier. Very situational. If you can land all your shots, they're like pinpoint accuracy shots, and you can do a shit ton of damage. She is good into a lot of the tanks right now. She's good into Khan. She's good into Jager. She's good into Rom. She's good into a Nara. A lot of the top tanks right now she is pretty good into. So if you can land your shots, big game is really good right now. Or if you want to run her dodge roll talent where you get the bonus damage on her dodge roll, you can run that as well. Does really well, especially versus more of a squishy type teams if you can land all your shots. At least me, I seem to do only average with her. I can never have a really solid game with her. I'm always average no matter how much I play her. And I've got 4,000 hours into the game, and that just goes to show you how difficult Cassie is to play on console, especially with how small her projectiles are. What Cassie really needs to be good, I think, is a new skin. Can we please get a new Cassie skin? It's been almost 3.5 years now since Cassie has gotten a skin. Give Cassie a skin, please. That's what she needs next. For this next patch or after the mid-season patch, we need to talk about Cassie getting a skin. She needs a skin in 2021. There we go. That's what she actually needs. A Corvus. Still going to maybe one of your top healers in the game. One of the best healers in the game. He still does his job insanely well. He has really solid damage, really good heals, especially once you get Chronos 3. I think your heal's on like a 3-second cooldown. And that's not to mention you're able to heal 2 people at once. Giving people lifesteal, giving people shields, small shields, that is. Giving people movement speed if they're marked. I actually even think Dark Gifts right now, especially with double support being a little bit better and probably one of the better options right now. I think actually Dark Gifts as like an off support and just like pocketing a flank or pocketing like a DPS such as like Leon, Victor, Imani, Octavia, just giving them the Dark Gifts buff the entire game really would help them out, and it is actually really, really solid right now. So definitely going to put him at an S. He's not broken, but I think he's definitely a solid pick right now and probably one of the top picks. Dredge. Dredge is going to an A+. Probably one of the best blasters in the game. 100%. He's everything you want out of a blaster right now. That's pretty much what it is. He's able to just shit on the point, especially when you have teams with like Jager running around, Rom being very common. Like you just sit and you spam the point and they can't stand there at all. They take way too much damage. Grok is actually I don't know, I would never thought I'd say it, but I think Grox right now is probably one of the better healers in the game. You're going to be seeing him a lot more. One of the best checks to Grok right now is Dredge because you pretty much insta-destroy any of his totems. He can't stand anywhere. So. Actually, I'm going to move him up to S. I think he's S-worthy. He's probably the best blaster in the game. I'm going to put him at an S. I think he definitely deserves it. At least for console. Drogos. I don't know. I'm going to put Drogos at an A+. He's fallen off a little bit. He got some buffs last patch. I thought it was going to be a lot better. Haven't really seen him that much. I don't know. Kind of more team dependent. I think the reason why I also put him at an S last patch is because Jager got released into ranked. Even with Jager being released into ranked, I don't think he's even that much better because not really many people play Jager in ranked. And if you do see Jager in ranked, they have to build a team around Jager to support her. If they don't have a team properly built around Jager, she is pretty easily beaten. You don't really need to pick a Drogos most of the time, even though it's probably the best check to her. But I'm probably could put him at an A+. I think he's solid at an A+. I'm going to leave him there. I just realized that I was wondering why this list looked different, and it's because I actually had a D tier on here. I did not have a D tier last time, so I got rid of that, and I actually moved these picks up because I don't think they're worth C tier. So I actually moved BK and Cassie up to a B tier. I think I actually had them at a C tier. I think they're actually worth B tier. They ain't C tier worthy, and that's because I got rid of one of the tiers below that. So by default, I had to move them up. Eevee, like I said, Eevee on console, you're never going to see her. The only times you're going to see her is in her high-end ranked games, and even then, they need to be playing precisely and flawlessly. If you can't play her flawlessly and you don't know what you're doing, you're going to get destroyed, you're going to get punished, and you're pretty much better off picking in the majority of the other flanks in the game that are just easier to play and get more value than with how much skill it's needed to play Eevee on console. If you can play her, by all means play her. You can carry ranked games. She's a pain to go against and extremely annoying. But if you can't, then don't pick Eevee because you're just going to feed and you're going to throw your ranked games. Going to put her at a B. That's being generous. There we go. Same thing as last time, pretty much. Fernando. I think Fernando is great right now. Going up to an S, he can play a really solid off tank and probably one of the best point tanks in the game. Really, really solid right now, especially being able to have a shield constantly at the ready. Really good ult, especially when you have stuff in the game, when you have double healers. You use your ult, get up to full health. You don't have to worry about dying. You're able to dodge stuff like Drogo Assault, Xin Guillotine, like a lot of the executes in the game, Vora, stuff like that. Really solid right now. Furia. Believe it or not, guys, they were actually trying to nerf Furia going into this PTS before this patch went live, and the community had to legit go at the necks of Necro and Mr. Kevin to not even push any Furia nerfs through, and actually reverted their decision, and they did not touch her at all. Furia right now is the most balanced she's ever been. She is really good, but she is not broken or not ban-worthy. She needs no nerfs. She needs nothing. She is perfect right now. She got a nerf this patch to her Exterminate. Now it does not blow up squishies in one hit and pretty much kill them before they can react. It still does a decent amount of damage, but you can actually have counterplay to Exterminate now if you decide to run that. She's probably the most balanced she's ever been right now. She needs no nerfs. She needs no buffs. Leave Furia alone balance-wise. I'm talking to you, Necro, and I'm talking to you, Kevin. Actually, Kevin stepped down, so the only person we got balancing the game now is actually Necro. So if Necro's watching this video, do not touch Furia. Most balanced she's been in a long time now. She needs no nerfs, she needs no buffs. She's perfect as she is right now. Probably one of the top 3 healers in the game, but she's not broken, and she's not bad by any means. There you go. Grok, probably the most controversial pick. We're going to see how this goes. I think Grok right now is insane. We're going to put him at an A+. He went from being probably F tier to like C tier, bottom of the barrel garbage last patch, to having one change and having some of his cards get, I think, a little bit buffed or something, and he's absolutely insane now. There is very rarely a moment in the game where you do not see a Grok that does not have at least one totem on the ground now. The guy is constantly healing 24/7 throughout the game. Like, he's legit. I think they actually over-buffed him. I actually think they do. I still think he needs an entire rework. I really do. I think they just need to keep his ult and rework everything else. If I were to give him he's probably like the second candidate I'd give a rework out of anybody in the game right now. Over Moji, which they don't care about, so I'd still rework him, but I think they over-buffed him because he went from being garbage to being like borderline broken. Now, the reason why I'm not putting him at an S or like anything higher than an A+ is because you can destroy his totems, and those are easy to kind of destroy. But I think the reason why he's so good right now, especially with the Ghost Walk, it feels like every time you Ghost Walk, like you get an instant totem back. The guy constantly has totems out on the field. He constantly has movement speed around his totems. He constantly has cooldowns rotating. He constantly has his ult up. Like, his ult charges so damn fast now because he's constantly healing 24/7. Who knew one change to his totems and a few of his cards would make the guy so much better? I don't know. Not me. Not me. I will admit I'm wrong. I said last patch in the last update that it would do nothing. I'm wrong. I'll admit I'm wrong. I'll admit. Especially with Chronos 3, gosh. I don't know. Like, he still does have counterplay. Once you bait out the Ghost Walk, then he kind of is a sitting duck and he really can't do anything. Especially once you got cauterized 2 and 3, you just have to bait out his Ghost Walk and get him low enough. He does have counterplay, and he does get shit on by like AoE type stuff. Drogos, Dredge, stuff like that to shit out in an AoE and just destroy his totems instantly. Stuff like that. But I think he's definitely A+ worthy. He might even be better depending on how the rest of the rank goes. Especially with balance changes going to be rolling in here for mid-season. We'll see where he lands, but I definitely think he's solid A+ worthy right now. And that's something, at least as a healer, like, I don't think damage is as good anymore, but as a healer right now, they wanted to make him better as a healer. They succeeded. I'll admit I'm wrong. I thought it was going to do nothing. It did make him better. Okay, if that's what they wanted, then by all means, then he's a lot better than he was last batch. I got to move him up just based on that, even though I hate him. There you go. Grover got nerfed kind of heavily this patch. It's still Grover, guys. It's still Grover. Still really solid healer. Really good. He does his job perfectly. The nerfs didn't really do much at all. Just kind of brought him in line a little bit more with the other healers in the game. Still really solid. Nothing about him's really changed all that much. Amani's still going to be an S tier pick. Probably the best projectile in the game. So much damage, great ult. I keep talking about how good she is, and some of you guys are catching on. Some of you guys still don't care to play her at all because for some reason you hate playing her. I don't know why. She's fun as hell to play. I love playing her. Probably the most fun DPS, at least for me to play in the game still. I don't know. You guys are missing out. If you guys aren't playing Amani in ranked, you guys want a really solid projectile that has really easy to land projectiles and does a shit ton of damage and has overall really good mobility, insane kit, solid loadouts. Like, you pick Amani and she's really solid. Not ban worthy, but she's definitely a really good pick right now. Nara, A+. The reason why I'm not going to put her higher is because she's lacking damage and she's lacking something right now, like compared to a lot of the other point tanks or like tanks in the game. I think the one thing she really is lacking is damage. Like, she doesn't have nearly enough damage. Like, she just sits on the point. The only thing she mainly does is she sits on point, and she absorbs healing, and she just sits there, and that's pretty much what she does. Like, she's pretty much her damage is mosquito bite like type damage. It's kind of garbage. That's the only thing she's really lacking. I can't put her higher than that. I think she got a slight card buff to one of her useless cards this patch. Nobody uses it anyways. Doesn't do anything. Doesn't put her higher. Doesn't put her lower. A+. Plus we got Io. The reason why I'm not putting A or Io higher is because she kind of feels like shit right now with Luna. Luna really doesn't feel like doing anything. What they need to do, if anybody from the balance team is watching, Necro, whoever's balancing the game right now and going into mid-season, reduce the internal stun time on Luna down to 10 or 12 seconds. There you go. Fixed her problem. I do think she's a really underrated pick right now. Nobody's really prioritizing her. So if you really want a really solid healer that does an insane amount of healing, plus the 15% DR, I would even say her Luna talent and her healing Luna talent is actually solid as well, because it still does a huge amount of healing. And it makes Luna feel a little bit better than being completely useless the majority of the game. But I think Io right now, A+. Probably my most favorite healer to play right now. She's really fun to play. The only thing that kind of feels like shit with her is that Luna kind of feels useless, apart from a stun every 30 seconds. But mid-season, that's what they need to change, or rework Sacrifice, because that's the useless talent. Genos, A tier. I feel like if you're going to be playing Genos, you need to play him into a comp that has one tank, and the majority of your team is either flanks or DPS as a solo healer, or you add him on as like an off support. Luminary is garbage, needs to be entirely reworked. Bring back Celestial Touch, or like something like about Celestial Touch, which is one of the talents they got rid of back when they had 4 talents. Bring that back, give that back to Genos, so he actually has a healing talent, and I can actually heal with the guy, because I feel like right now he just doesn't do enough healing, and he does not offer enough to a team to justify picking him over the majority of other supports. Unless you're going to be landing ults and getting picks with your ult, which is still extremely hard to do and very situational. There's really no reason to pick him up, but I'm going to put him at an A anyways. Con. The reason why I'm putting him at an A+ is because, and you're going to be seeing him in the majority of your games, is because he's extremely easy to play, and you get a lot of value out of just playing him. If he was not picked and played as much as he is, I'd put him lower. He needs all of his talents reworked. Leon's shield is garbage, useless. His stun talent is useless. And then whatever his what is it? Fire, or is it, Storm of Bullets is useless as well, because then you don't do any damage, so. I think they need to bring back Firing Line, switch out one of his talents, bring back Firing Line, and then see where he is from there. That's what they need to do for mid-season. Not going to put him any higher. But you will be seeing him in the majority of your games just because he's really easy to play, and people love picking people off with the ult and just being able to grab them and throw them away or get an instant pick. That's one of the reasons why people play him. Vanessa got a bit of a nerf. I think this patch, one of her healing cards got reduced down to a max of a 250 instead of 500. Just kind of brought her in a little bit more, at least damage-wise and card-wise, compared to a lot of the other DPS in the game. Still an A+ tier, not going to put her higher because she is more situational, map-dependent, so I'm not going to put her any higher. Koga. Man, does this guy need some talent reworks. I'm going to put him at an, I don't know. I want to put him at an A+ because I think he can stomp ranked games in your mid-tier ranked games, but once you get past like Platinum 3, he's garbage. He's fallen off so much. He really has. I'll put him at an A tier. And that's kind of being generous, at least even for console. Like, what Koga needs going into the mid-season he needs his talents reworked. Get rid of Blood Reaper, get rid of that, and rework that into something entirely new. Rework Dragon Fangs to where it does not take health anymore, but it'll just never take energy or health. Just make it so that it reduces the damage on your claws down to like 200 or 300 per claw. That way I have a reason to play Dragon Fangs and play with his claws. Please. Rework Dragon Fangs into that, and then get rid of Adrenaline Junkie. Put a watered-down version of Adrenaline Junkie into his base kit, and then let us go to town. And then rework that talent entirely and give us 2 new talents for mid-season. That's what Koga needs, and that's what he needs right now. Otherwise, he's extremely average. Can stomp some of your ranked games if you're playing like your mid-tier ranked, but once you get above a certain point, he just falls off a lot. He just can't do his job. Especially with the damage nerf he recently got a couple patches ago, he struggles into a lot of the tanks. It's really difficult going into it, playing against tanks, especially when you're going against a team with double supports and they're constantly getting healed. You just can't do enough damage. That's the problem he has as well right now. Lex got a bit of a nerf. He's still a top tier pick. He does so much damage. Until they nerf Discovery, Lex is still going to be a top tier pick in a lot of your ranked games. You're going to be seeing him banned. Lex does so much damage. Discovery is insane. You're doing like 500, 400, 500 damage per bullet with Discovery if you have on your marked target. Insane. Absolutely insane. Discovery needs to be nerfed. Even with the card nerfed to one of his lifesteal cards, he still has an okay amount of self-sustain. He just out-damages like a lot of stuff still. That's the problem and why he's still so good. So, to Leon. I don't know if there's anybody from the AOC watching this video, but if you're one of the people from the AOC that wants Leon to get nerfed, you're absolute psycho and you probably don't play the game. Leon's an A+. Problem with Leon, if you're not playing burst and if you're not going for the squishies, she just doesn't really do enough damage to justify picking her. Ever since she got the damage immunity removed from her ult, she has been on a steady decline. Why people still want her nerfed is beyond me. A+ is generous. I'm putting her there just because she is relatively easy to play if you can land the majority of your shots. And she does match up well into a lot of the more squishier type characters, supports, stuff currently being played, so. Like, if you're one of the people that wants Leon being nerfed, I don't know why you ever would. But if anything, she needs to be buffed. Give her back her damage immunity on her ult. That's what she needs. She needs that back. Or give her or buff her base damage. I'm not talking about precision. I'm talking about her base damage. Instead of 400, buff it up to 425. There you go. Nice buff for Leon. That's what she needs. Maeve. I do think Maeve is a little bit better now, especially with Andrew being a little bit more nerfed. And she can actually box a little bit better against stuff like Lex. I'm not going to put her at an S tier. I think that's a little bit too high. I think I'm still going to put her at an A+. I think what she really needs is, and the thing she really lacks right now, is viable talents. She has one good talent being Cat Burglar. Apart from that, the rest of her talents are garbage. Street Justice rewards people with no aim and promotes people just stealing people's kills, that low health kills. And then what is her other one? I don't even know. I forgot the name of it. It's so irrelevant because nobody plays it. Whatever it is. Pretty much what she needs going into mid-season. She's probably going to be getting a skin, which hopefully she is. I'm dying for another Maeve skin. I know some people ain't going to like that, but at least me, I'd rather have Maeve get a skin than the majority of the other champions that have been getting a shit ton of skins over the past year. What she needs going into mid-season is she needs Street Justice to be replaced and entirely reworked or replaced with a new talent. Give us another talent that actually allows us to play differently. Every time you pick her, you're going to be seeing Cat Burglar just because it's her best talent and the rest of her talents are garbage. She lacks viable talents. Apart from that, if you like playing with a high mobility, really solid damaging flank, she has no damage fall off, she has infinite ammo and like stuff like Vaux. Same consistent mid-range poke, really good long-range poke, even though there's a little bit of an arc on her daggers. Really solid. I'm not going to put her higher than an A+, because I do think there's still better options, and especially with Andrew and Lex being as good as they are, she struggles into a lot of those matchups. But if you can play her and you have really good accuracy and you can manage your cooldowns, she does kind of struggle until you get like Chronos 3 as well. You kind of have to play a little bit more cautious because your cooldowns are a little bit on high cooldowns, especially until you get Chronos 2, 3. So if you can manage your cooldowns though, and you know when to go in, know how to properly play her like me, probably my most favorite flank still to play in the game to this day. One of the sole reasons I've been playing the game so long. I just wish I'd be able to put her higher. I just can't. But if you can play her, she's still really solid. I think she is a bit better because Andrew and Lex did get a bit of a nerf, so she's able to box him a little bit better. Andrew has to reload now, especially if he misses a couple of his shots. Huge advantage for you in a 1v1, and Lex doesn't have as much self-sustain, so if he misses some of his shots, he doesn't get as much health back, and you're able to just kind of win 1v1 slightly a little bit more easier versus those two. So she is a little bit better and stuff like that, but I still think she's just A+. I can't put her higher. Poa A tier, nothing with him has changed at all. I don't know what he needs, but he needs something desperately because he just feels like shit to play. If I'm playing Makoa, I feel like I'm doing nothing the entire game. I don't know. And he recently even got buffed. I think some of his talents got buffed or something. He just feels like shit to play. That's the problem. Like, he needs something. I don't know what it is, but he just needs something. Damba, I'm going to put Damba at an A+. I think Damba can be really good, especially with his Ripened Gourd. Like, it does a shit ton of healing, especially if you pair him with a double support. Him as like a main support, and you add like a Genos or like an Isle or something else to like pocket certain people, or like a Corvus. It's really, really solid. She pairs really well with stuff like Jager, Rom, stuff like that to just take a shit ton of healing. Ripened Gourd heals through a lot of that damage, even with Cauterize, because it does so much damn healing. Really solid. What it comes down to is if you can land your Mending Spirits. If you can't, then you're going to have some problems, but if you can land the majority of them, then you're gonna do pretty well. I do even think, even on console, even if you don't run like Mending Spirits or like his healing talent or Spirits Chosen or whatever it is, you just run Ripened Gourd. The reason why I'm putting him at an A+ is because Ripened Gourd is really easy to use and you get a lot of value, especially with a card. I think there's a Lifesteal card that gives Lifesteal. Really solid. Because overall, right now, he's just really solid. Even on console, I think he's an A+ worthy, especially with Ripened Gourd. We already did Moji, not going to talk about her. Let's get on to Octavia. The new damage champion added to ranked. Octavia. Moving Octavia right up to an S. Really solid. Insanely good. Insanely good. She got nerfed a bit this patch. Her base damage got nerfed slightly. And then her recoil on her sidearm when you're just shooting without looking down scope, just as your sidearm. The recoil got slightly reduced, and they upped the damage slightly on her sidearm damage. So I don't know what you want me to say, guys. Passives are the reason why I'm putting her so high is her passive mainly. If she did not have her passive, I think she would probably be like A or maybe like A+ tier, like in the same boat as Leon. Just because she has a passive, I think that makes her a lot more prioritized over a lot of the other DPS, at least below her. Like being able to give credits, I wouldn't say the shields are really viable in ranked, the shield passive, but giving people like 15% increased ult charge, 10% CDR out of spawn, and then being able to give people extra 100 credits every 6 elims, really, really solid. It's really good, especially in the early game. You have an instant advantage over the enemy team just walking out of spawn. That's always really solid and really good to have. Not to mention she has okay mobility. I still think her jump is still on too large of a cooldown. What is it, like 15 seconds or something crazy? But I don't know. Really solid damage. I think she's overall is what you want out of a really easy to play, basic damage champion right now. If you want somebody that's really easy to play, you get a lot of value out of, and feels overall really fun to play, I think Octavia is worth giving a try. I think she's really good. Not broken tier worthy, but I think she can be really good. Pip, C tier. It's at the point where I think they actually need to rework Pip, because I don't know what they can do to actually buff him. The guy is garbage. He's trash. I think what they need to do is give him a new skin. Maybe that'll make people want to play him more. I don't know. Because believe me personally, I don't feel like there's any reason to pick him at all. Even as with Catalyst and doing damage, there's so many better options as a blaster. If I wanted to play a blaster, I would pick up Dredge, I'd pick up Drogos, I'd pick up all this other shit, even Willow maybe. I don't play Willow. I'd probably pick Pip over Willow, at least me personally, but some people would probably pick Willow over Pip. As a healer, he's garbage. Doesn't do anything. Requires your team to be grouped up the majority of the time so you can get your cooldown back. I don't know. He needs something. I don't know what it is. Like, increase the ammo on his potion launcher. Increase the projectile speed. I don't know what they need to do with him, but he needs something. Because he is god-awful. Give him the Grok treatment. Give him some insane buffs so he's at least somewhat decent to play. I don't know. I don't know. I think he needs his hitbox. Like, his hitbox is insane. Like, you just shoot at the guy and you get a headshot damage. Like, I don't even try hitting his head. You just shoot at him and you'll get that headshot multiplier and you'll get extra damage. I think that's one of the things holding him back as well. His head hitbox is pretty much his entire body. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below as some ideas to probably buff or rework Pip. That would be really cool. On to Rom. One of the best off-tanks in the game still. Just does his job perfectly. Like, if you want an off-tank that's going to be as annoying as hell, just going into the back line, running around the entire game, especially if they have nothing to stop you, you just freely run through people, you run around the map, cause a bunch of chaos, really spammable ult, really difficult to take down, especially if you're playing them perfectly. I've had higher tier ranked games where the guy is almost unkillable because he gets played almost flawlessly. I think he's really solid. As an off-tank, not a main tank. You never play him as a main tank, but as an off-tank, paired with like something like a Fernando, a Barrack, and Nara, even like an Ashe or something as like an off-tank, then he can work. Ruckus is trash, going down to C tier. I don't even know what. I think they might actually even buffed in this patch. I don't even know what they did, but garbage. Doesn't do anything. Garbage. I'm just going to move on because there's no point even talking about him. If you pick Ruckus, you're just throwing your game. There's so many better options. I think all the tanks, every single tank in the game is better than Ruckus in some other way. There's no reason to pick him at all, and that's the problem he has right now. Saris. I'm going to put Saris at I think I'm going to put her at her S tier. I think she's probably the best healer in the game right now, guys. Saris is the best healer in the game. Never would I thought if I would say that. I told you guys I was right. Some of you guys said, oh, these buffs ain't going to do anything to Saris. She's still going to be garbage. Blah, blah, blah. I told you guys, the patch before she got those buffs, man, is she going to be good. And she is good. Best healer in the game. So much healing, especially early game. It's really hard to play into, especially if you pair that with like a double support. Pretty much unkillable for the first 10 minutes of the game until people get cauterized 2 or 3. So much healing, really good survivability because you have an instant escape, you can run away from people, really great loadout cards. I don't think she even has a bad loadout because she has so many great loadout cards. Increased duration on or speed on shadow travel, reduce the cast time on shadow travel. A lot of other cool cards. She gives like base alt charge, stuff like that, extra healing, like a lot of other cool shit like instant reloads while you're healing somebody. A lot of cool loadout cards. I don't even think she has a bad loadout right now. She has so many good loadout cards. Probably the best healer in the game. She's not ban worthy, but the reason why I'm putting her at SS is because she needs to be nerfed. Really difficult to dive her as well. Really difficult to dive her because she just runs away every time. Kind of have to bait out the shadow travel before you can dive her, and no other healer in the game can do that. That's the kind of reason why I'm putting her at SS. Shaolin. Where do I put Shaolin? I'm going to put Shaolin C tier, garbage. On console, he is trash right now. There's no reason to play him at all. I'm moving on. Skye. I'm going to put Skye at an S tier. I think Skye is really solid, especially in your mid-tier ranked games. People just don't know how to play against her, and she gets so much value. Does so much damage. She's able to be paired as like a hybrid type damage support with healing vapors. Really solid. Able to really win a lot of 1v1s because you throw it on your smoke cloud. If they don't have cauterized 2 or 3, you pretty much win the 1v1 because you out heal them and you're able to just do more damage and out sustain them in a 1v1 or even like a 1v2 sometimes. Really solid. Plus you pair that with 2 good tanks and like another really solid DPS or a really solid support, and you have a really solid comp. There you go. Don't get me wrong, she can get shut down by Illuminate and because she has no mobility, but in the majority of your games, you're going to be seeing Skye picked a lot of your games because she's really easy to play. She gets a lot of value out of just playing her. She's really, really simple, really basic, and she just does a lot. That's what people like. They're easy to play champions that do a lot, get a lot of value. Even with Illuminate, she's still really solid. Some people are going to disagree, but I think she's solid S tier. Strix is garbage right now, guys. I feel like he's really bad. I don't know. He needs some type of buff. I feel like his ult is pretty much useless. I feel like he just gets dove way too easy. And that's somebody coming from a Strix. I'm like level 92 or something crazy with Strix. Like, he just feels like shit to play. Like, as a sniper, he still does the sniper type damage. He just feels super clunky and feels like shit to play. I don't know what they need to change on him. I don't know. You have to ask me if it's Frog Isle or like something else like Fish Market or like one of the maps the snipers are good on. If I had to choose, I'd pick Kinessa every other time, like every single time, over Strix. If Kinessa's available and you want a sniper on your team, you pick Kinessa every time. You get so much more value out of playing Kinessa than you do Strix. That's the problem. I don't know what they need to change with them. If you guys have any ideas, let me know in the comments down below. Talus. I don't know. I've seen Talus so much in my ranked games recently, but I just don't know what the problem is. The guy's still trash. Unless you're playing like mid-tier gold games and you can stomp games, he's not worth the first pick. Don't pick him as a throw pick when your team has no damage because he doesn't do that much damage either. He gets blown up by pretty much everything if you don't play him properly. I don't know what people think with Talus. Like, if you're one of those Talus mains, or if you're like a Talus stan that thinks Talus is like god tier, pick him every ranked game and like stomp every ranked game, you're wrong. I don't know. Nothing with him has changed. He got nerfed and nothing with him changed. Especially when you're going against stuff like Lex and Andro. Andro legit blows you up in like 2 headshots. Unless you happen to jump him. If you face him head on, he wins that 1v1 every time. Same with Lex. Especially if you're talking about headshots, you're doing like, what, 600 a headshot if you're being marked? Even with you're not being marked, you're doing like 300, 400 damage with a headshot. And that's not taking into consideration lifesteal and all that other shit. I don't know. I'm even being generous by putting him at like an A tier. I really am. The only reason I'm putting him at an A tier is because he can stomp some of your mid-range ranked games. But apart from that, I think he's still garbage. Don't first pick him. Don't throw your games. If any of the other flanks above him are in this tier list are available, you pick them over Talus anytime, and you'll have a better chance of winning your games. Unless you want to go into ranked and absolutely throw, and that's your sole priority, then don't pick him. Terminus SS tier needs to be nerfed. Hopefully going to be getting nerfed for the mid-season patch. I'm not going to go into in-depth why he's broken. Same thing for the last 3 or 4 tier list videos I've done. Tiberius. S tier. Really solid. Probably the second best projectile in the game, even with the nerfs. Just overall really consistent, really easy to play. Really easy to land your projectiles because they are pretty easy to land and easy to shoot out. Really solid. I don't know why people still want him to get nerfed more. They're talking about nerfing him for the mid-season patch and nerfing one of his best cards. Hopefully that's not the case, because then they'll just completely neuter and kill the guy. Right now, I think he's probably in the most fair state he's probably been in. I do think his ult's kind of useless still. I think his ult needs a couple more charges, at least for his blade dance, but that's just me. Torvald, C tier, same thing as last tier list. They don't want to rework him, but then they keep buffing Wrecker and they keep nerfing his shields, making him pretty much useless. Same boat as last time. Tyra, SS tier, broken. Gonna be seeing her in like 99% of your ranked games. Gonna be seeing her either get banned or picked as in the top 3 picks or bans every time. She's going to be getting nerfed, hopefully for the mid-season patch, but until then, she's a top pick, top ban. Same thing as last time. Victor, S tier. Just your typical easy-to-play hit scan. Nothing about him from last patch has really changed. Going to put him in about the same spot I think I had him last time. Still get a really good amount of value, does really solid damage. Overall, this is really solid. Vivian, A tier, doo-doo trash, no mobility. Her shield got nerfed into the ground. I think she's probably the worst she's ever been. I'm even being generous at putting her in an A because I haven't seen her at all. And every time I see a Vivian in my ranked games, ever since she got the absolute piss nerfed out of her, they've done nothing but feed, or they just don't do anything the entire game. And they were just better off picking something else. Vora. I feel like Vora is a really controversial one right now. I don't know where I would really put her. I don't think she's better than Maeve. I really don't. I think I have to put her at like an A+. Like, she just struggles, especially with double healer being a little bit more common right now. She just kind of struggles with double healer. She has okay mobility, but she's still extremely buggy and kind of clunky to play. I don't know. If you can play her really well, I think you can carry games, because people are starting to learn how to play her, and there are people that just sit and play the shit out of Vora now, and that are actually hopping into ranked. If you can play the shit out of her and you know how to play her, then by all means pick her up. She can carry games, but just in general, I think an A+ is a solid place to just put her right now. I'm not going to put her any higher. Willow, trash. It's at the point where you either rework her or just delete her from the game, or you just buff the shit out of her again. Then she goes back to being like a top pick, a top ban, and then she gets the shit nerfed out of her, and then she's back to where she was 2 months later. Garbage. Worst blaster in the game. I shouldn't have to sit and explain her again, because if you guys want a more in-depth explanation, just look at my past 3 tier list videos. She's been in the same spot. Jager, A tier. Moving her down, I think I had her higher. She's A tier. You need to have a comp built around her to make her work. As a solo tank, she's not really that good. As an off tank, she's okay. She just takes so much heals and so much resources and such a team comp built around her to make her work. That's the problem with her right now. I think she's just an A tier pick. I wouldn't put her any higher. What else we got? Ying. I think Ying's really good right now. I'm going to put Ying in an S. I think she's probably one of the better healers in the game. Really solid. Really good ult, really good heals. Don't play damage unless you're playing double support. But if you're playing like Life Exchange, I think she can be really solid. She can keep a team sustained. She has an ult that charges really fast. Decent survivability. Not too bad. Really pretty much it's your typical healer right now. I think Ying's probably just really balanced right now. Same boat as Fury. They're probably the most two balanced healers in the game right now. What else we got? Xin as our last champion of the game. He got nerfed this patch. I still think he's really good. One of the better flanks in the game. Guillotine got nerfed. I think some of his cards got a little bit of a nerf. Like, he's still insanely good. Like, there's no reason I put him lower than an S. Guillotine's insanely good still. You pretty much still get an instant KO on, like, any squish here, like the majority of the tanks that are, like, below 75% health. Really good. I think the only thing it really affects is like, tanks like Rom or, like, Jager, where you just can't, like, one-shot him anymore with your ult. Apart from that, he's still really good. Really solid survivability. Solid damage. In mid-season, they're thinking about reworking some of his talents. Yomi, for some reason, is getting reworked. I don't know why. That's my favorite talent, at least with him to play. I don't know why they would rework that. I think his talents right now are fine, honestly. I really do. I don't think any of his talents need any type of rework. I think he's in a solid place right now. I think like the only thing I'd change with him is maybe some of his cards could use a little bit more of a buff. Or like some little bit of rework, because I feel like half of his cards are kind of useless. But apart from that, I think he's just a solid S tier flank. You're not going to be banning him. You may prioritize him depending on what you want to play. He's always there, depending on what team you want to play him into. But yeah, there you go, guys. This is the tier list for Paladins, Shadows, console tier list. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Do you guys agree with me? Do you guys disagree if there's something I missed or forgot to explain more? Let me know in the comments down below. I reply to the majority of the comments. If somebody wants to do timestamps, please do a timestamps. If you watch the entire video, I will pin and favorite your comment down below. Subscribe, leave a like, share the video. It really helps me out. And I appreciate all the support, guys. We recently hit 500 subscribers. It means so much. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. For the mid-season tier list, there's supposed to be a shit ton of balance, so I may be breaking it up into 4 videos. Otherwise, I'll be sitting here for like 4 hours. So expect probably 4 separate videos for DPS, flank, support, and tank for the mid-season patch, at least for tier list videos, depending on how much balance we're supposed to be getting. They say there's going to be a shit ton of balance, so if that's the case, I will be breaking it into 4 different videos, at least just for the mid-season patch, so I don't have to sit here for 4 hours. And it's a little bit more of a easy task for you guys to watch the videos. So, apart from that, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in a future video. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate all your guys' support. And I'll see you guys in a future video. Thanks for watching.